Good evening, everyone. Wow, I never been in a room that's so silent. It's usually like buzzing. So somebody reminded me in this room, I believe it was Paul, I don't know if Paul is still here, but we met about 8 years ago, but this was just a bit of planting the seed in terms of leading a hospice in Brampton. And so here we are today. It's so exciting for this particular evening, and I can't thank you enough, all of you, for being here. My passion for building a hospice, it doesn't matter where it is. Right now I'm living in Brampton, I'm living in Canada, but it stemmed from when I was in England and my sister was diagnosed with something serious. They actually just gave her 2 weeks to live, but she survived another year and a half after initial diagnosis. But it stemmed from there because it was, well, let me just read these few words that I wrote down as an ode. It shows how what the hospice nurses did to support my sister and us as a family. They say nurses are angels with invisible wings. My sister's angel nurse from the local hospice was that. Only 3 years older than I, my courageous and strong sister was my role model. The day we learned she only had 2 weeks to live was the day my world ended. It was her angel nurse who supported her and us at the end of her life. To you, her angel nurse, and I thank you, not as much as I should, because you did so much for us. You were always by her side, loving her, caring for her, unconditionally. You made her smile, even on a particularly rough day. You'd come in quietly, sit beside her, and just hold her hand. You wouldn't judge her or us when we prayed as per our religion, when we dressed as per our culture.
Welcome, everybody. As mentioned, my name is Todd Fraley, and it is a distinct privilege to be able to speak to you tonight on our inaugural event. I'm going to speak to a few slides, and then at the end we're going to all be available to answer any questions there are some, and/or you can come up and meet with us one-on-one. I want to answer. My first slide is the need. The need is frankly the elephant in the room. Most people don't choose to talk about death, dying, grief, and bereavement easily, and that crosses virtually every culture. But it's exactly that elephant in the room that we are talking about tonight. Let's talk about the need for Brampton. The province, and even internationally, has set minimum standards for 5 hospice beds per 100,000 people. Brampton has none. The standard would say that we need at least 35. So you can see our need is large and quite urgent. Doing more with less. Well, it's been a mantra for healthcare for at least the last 20 years, maybe 30 years. To do more with less money. Hospice actually does that. We have the unique ability to save the system money while providing better end-of-life care. Research has repeatedly shown that end-of-life care in a hospice residence is preferred, better, and more cost-effective. In fact, you can see on the slide, hospice care costs 1/3 of the cost for end-of-life care that a hospital does. And if you look on the left side of the slide, you see 40% of our referrals come from hospitals. Over the last 2 years, that saved the system $199 million. And that number will grow as we build more hospices and divert more people from hospital into a hospice bed when it is more appropriate. There is a role for complex care and palliative care here, but by and large, hospice residences can serve most people. One community, many unique needs. Nothing could be more true about Brampton. There are 4 pillars of hospice care. The first one being medical care. The second one being the psychosocial and emotional support. The third being the practical supports to care for somebody at the end of their life, for them and their family members. And the fourth being spiritual care. It's not necessarily religious care, but it's whatever that individual finds meaning in. It can be very religious for some people, and for others, they might find meaning in their family, they might find meaning in nature, they might find meaning in a variety of different things. So those are the four pillars. We know that Brampton is arguably one of the most diverse cities, not only in Canada, but in the world. We're one of the top 10 most populous cities, and we're one of the most diverse cities. So we need to do this aspect really, really well. So our goal, our board's goal, or our volunteers' goal, is to not only provide those four pillars of care in a professional and passionate manner, but also to do so in a completely equitable and an inclusive way. That is our goal.
Well, listen, I'm no stranger to hospices. Obviously, we're in the funeral industry. But it's a place that is comforting for families. It's a place where it can be very peaceful for an end of life. But I've seen many things, even miracles, that have happened. And I want to share a story with you. Just take a moment. But this was a very powerful thing that I witnessed. There was a family who I knew, and their loved one was passing at a hospice. And they asked me to come to the hospice because they wanted me to be present there to help them when the time came. And what happened was, there was an elderly lady who was about to pass. And this is the backstory of her. She was passing away from cancer. Now, she had lost her husband to cancer, and 20 years ago, she had lost her son to cancer. But what happened when her son had just passed 20 years ago, him and his wife gave birth to a baby girl. And as soon as the baby girl was born, her son passed away, the mother took the child to India. So this lady who's now passing in this hospice never saw this grandchild.
Thank you, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here representing City Council today and Mayor Patrick Brown. With Kate Blair, when this project was first proposed, it was an exciting opportunity, especially for myself. Kate Blair had a profound impact on Brampton Civic and the board. She leaves a very strong and profound legacy there. And that happens to be also my boards, boards 9 and 10. And so when there was an opportunity to look for the Kate Blair Hospice land opportunities, it was inevitable that we would end up back in wards 9 and 10. So the new site is actually in our area. We're really proud to have this facility coming to wards 9 and 10. Kate Blair's legacy is not only felt in wards 9 and 10, but all of Brampton. She leaves a profound legacy in healthcare and health services. And what a great way to recognize her contributions and services. Outside of that, when we talk about healthcare in Brampton, for many times we hear Brampton City Council advocating profusely for a fair share for additional hospital, long-term care beds. And it's amazing that, we found an opportunity and a way to get more hospice beds to the city of Brampton. It's disturbing that there was no hospice care.
We have board chair Todd Frailer and Dr. Kuljit Singh with us here at the inaugural event of the K. Blair's Hospice. So we know that there are 12 beds at the moment, as we are seeing the announcement. On what basis are these 12 patients would be decided? Is there any criteria, or is it the first come first serve basis?
So there's a couple parts to that question. The province establishes 5 beds per 100,000 as a minimum, which means that Brampton should have 35 to 40, and we have none. So we're trying to rectify that with the first 12 beds. When we're up and running, we will be very much an end-of-life care facility. So we will assess and triage patients in cooperation with long-term care and hospitals, and there's a number of ways that you decide whether this individual is appropriate for the hospice at this time. maybe they're not right now, but will be in a month. And so we're here to help them usually in their last 2 to 3 weeks of life. And we use a number of assessment skills to determine that. Nothing's perfect. Some people, their time changes. Often they come into hospice because our care is so good, and they perk up, and they stabilize a little bit and last and live a little longer. Hospice is about providing the best quality of care up until the very end, and it's also about caring for their family members even after the death of their loved one.
It's not caste-based, it's not creed-based, it's not religion-based. It's open to each and every person who lives in Brampton. Okay? And the other thing is, as Todd mentioned, it is not just for the person who is passing away. It's for the families as well. Counseling is available. After the person passes away, the family counseling is available.
But really bluntly, that's where you go when you know you're going to pass away, right? So what it's called in medical terms, you're actively dying. And so, for example, President Carter has decided that he's not doing any more medical treatments. He knows he's going to pass away from, I believe it's cancer, and he's going to pass away at home. But he's rich enough that he can pay somebody to come in his house and take care of him. But not everybody has that opportunity, or some people need extra support as they're at the end of their life. And so what we're doing is we're building a hospice in Brampton. It's going to have 12 beds, so 12 individual suites. They're not hospital rooms. They're going to feel like home-like suites, and it's a home-like environment. You're getting fresh food cooked in your culture or your dietary needs. Your spiritual needs will be met, and all different faiths and religions can get what they need, like Kuljit's Sikh, I'm atheist, it doesn't matter, right? Everybody's welcome. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. The government does give us some money towards it, but not very much. So we do have to raise the money ourselves to do a number of things, to build the hospice and then to run it, okay? So the City of Brampton has very generously agreed to give us a 1.7 acre parcel off of Bovaird Drive, off of Bramley Road, between Bovaird and Mayfield, so near Sesquicentennial Park. And in the package you can see the map of where it is. But that will allow us to then go ahead and build on that land. The province will give us some money towards building it, but we do need to raise extra money to build this hospice. It'll be amazing. And it's not just hospital care, so there'll be massage, Reiki, acupuncture, all the different types of care that a person would want to be comfortable in their final days. Family can come and go and visit. It's amazing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, hello, sat sri akal. Basically, this is something that's very important to give back to community. Hospices are very much needed in Brampton. There's a large population, large growing population, and this end-of-life care is not existent here. So hospices exist in other jurisdictions, but in Brampton, it's the first one to be built. So I want to be part of this to give back to community as well and help support them.
We have President of Sheridan College, Janet, with us. Janet, first of all, what do you feel about this inaugural event today of K. Blair's Hospice?
Well, what a great community event, people coming together to support Brampton. Sheridan's long been invested in healthcare and healthcare equity and access in particular across Peel region. I was just saying that personally, my father accessed a hospice in our small community, the small community that I called home in Northern Ontario, and it made a world of difference to my siblings and I, to my mother. I think the imperative to live with dignity and to die with dignity is something that you see people coming together around here tonight.
Definitely. And